Oh, George Lucas, oh, me's a Jaja. Me's a big failure to the fans. Oh, they should shoot me in me's a face. I hated Jar Jar Binks just for the stupid one-liner jokes that he had. It was ridiculous. Like the original movies had no character like this for the fans, like for the kids at all. The kids loved the movies for what they were, not because they had some goofy idiot running around, tripping and smelling farts from an animal running around.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Machtails from the Cantina Live, episode number 58. On tonight's episode, Film Commissioner from Humboldt and Del Norte counties in Northern California, Cassandra Hesseltine will be joining the show.
Jedi business, go back to your drinks.
We will be talking about the Forest Moon Festival happening in Northern California, the Redwood Coast Museum of Cinema, and what it's like to be filming up in Northern California. Grab yourself a beverage.
Yes, have some.
Smoke if you got 'em. I am your show host, Chris Macht.
What did you say your name was?
I am your show host, Chris Macht, and we are live inside the Wampa Cave. Let the tomfoolery and hijinks begin. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mocktails from the Cantina Live. It is going to be a great show this evening. We're visiting with our West Coast friends. And just like the baseball schedule, when the East Coast teams play the West Coast teams in Cali or in Seattle, we run into these late nights. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my cousin, Michael Earl Gottschalk, that had taken his own life on May 1st. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I just want to say what I need to say. If you guys know somebody that is hurting, if you're hurting, it's all about community. It's like Star Wars. There's this big community in life that brings us together and helps us get through all this shit in life together. I lost my dad to suicide. A lot of you guys that have seen my films, you know that story over and over again. We lost brother Marcus from Germany last year to suicide. I know this is a Debbie Downer of an opener. I know it is. But it is mental health awareness. This is Mocktails from the Cantina. Very unfiltered, very raw, very down to earth. So again, I want to raise my glass to my cousin Mike. He will be very, very missed in the family and in the Star Wars community. We're going to be talking a lot about Star Wars tonight. A lot of great Star Wars. But we need to bring on producer and brother Rich Brendel to kind of soften the moment, break the ice, if you will, to kind of get us from the Debbie Downer phase into late night with Mocktails from the Cantina for a cheer and a beer segment. Brother Rich Brendel.
What's up, guys?
How are you, man?
I got to show off this glass to begin with. Look at that.
Oh, you just got back from the show.
Yeah. They gave these out whenever you ordered a beer. So, yeah.
So you have several of those.
I was a little bit trippy towards the end of the night and didn't cross my mind, but I at least had one, and I was happy about that. It was a crazy show. It was awesome, and yeah. So
very, very cool glass. And you know what? We're tying in, of course, the Grateful Dead from San Francisco, California. Kind of appropriate to open the show with the little beer and a beer in your Grateful Dead glasses. We're talking to all our guests are from California. The film commissioner, Cassandra, is going to be here. He's actually waiting in the green room patiently.
Yeah,
We're going to be talking a lot of Star Wars, man. But anyways, brother, this is your segment. So who are you raising your glass to, and what are you drinking to tonight? And what are you
drinking in honor of both Mental Health Awareness Month and the Forest Moon Festival. I'm drinking to all the little guys out there, all the Ewoks.
All the Ewoks that stayed in Brookings.
They can make a huge difference in the world, even though they're little. Size matters not. Cheers.
Size matters not, man. Did you get a chance to tell me what was in that glass before you just devoured it whole?
High Life.
High Life. Hey, we'll have you on next month drinking the beer bat. So, hey, brother Rich Brendel, love you, man, and thanks again for producing Machtails from the Cantina.
Yeah.
Take care, brother. We'll see you. Without further ado, I would love to we were chatting in the green room. While she was in the green room, we had some technical difficulties that we all made it through. And producer Matthew Rooney is not here. So all the beautiful images that we are talking about tonight are going to be missed because it's not my wheelhouse. As much as I want B-roll and as vital as it is, there's no B-roll in today's show, but we have some really, really beautiful and handsome faces that are going to join us. Matthew Rooney is taking the night off tonight, so we're going to do this old school late night TV style and The Force Among Us, my first documentary. Would you please welcome to the show for the very, very first time, and not the last, Cassandra, the film commissioner from Northern California. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. I was talking to Brother Tracy Boyd, and you guys have this second annual Forest Moon Festival. A lot of my listeners know about it because I recapped it last year, and I had such a great time. You guys screened my second documentary, The Force Within Us, at 2 different theaters. Let me ask you right now, how are you feeling now, right now, it's going to start? Are you still stressed out from all the planning that's involved?
Oh, yeah, I'm sweating bullets right now. We're like counting down the days. Are you kidding me? It's always nerve-wracking. We've done this is our second annual Forest Moon Festival, but we had done like a little prequel, right? So like 2.5. And, each time it's grown, it's gotten bigger. The team is amazing. And we have all these great new ideas that we're executing. And so we're like, we want to make people happy. We want the attendees to be happy. We want the community that's helping us throw it to be happy. And we know Star Wars fans, they're serious. So, we just hope we did our job. I think we did. But
well, you guys did a great job last year. I was there in person. I was a little bit in my own world because there's so many different elements to this festival. I mean, you have the filming locations, you have the little downtown celebrations, and right. Tracy was sending me photos with the banner and all that above these towns. What is the hardest part of this festival for you?
Or the team?
I would say for you individually.
Okay. All right. For me,
this is a chance for you to vent.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to make fun of myself. I think, the hardest thing probably for me is the control freak part and having to let go of things and trusting the vision that we originally came up with was to make this kind of like a holiday, like a 4th of July, if you will, and trusting that the whole community will help us do it, trusting the team that they'll help, come up with these creative ideas and execute them and they'll all work out, and then trusting that attendees will show up. So I think, trusting that whole thing and letting go of, really crazy high expectations and just really celebrating all the small successes, because they become big successes. And so, yeah, I think that my biggest thing is myself. Isn't that true in life?
Yes, at least to acknowledge that. It's funny that the first thing that I realized, and you're actually a filmmaker yourself. I've looked at your IMDb credits. You have a lot of experience. One of the first things that I learned as an independent filmmaker, I don't even consider myself a filmmaker. I'm a hobbyist, but I learned to trust everybody that's on your team. Yes, I'm a control freak. Like you said yourself, you're kind of struggling with that, putting this festival together. Do you feel like that you have a good team behind you, and that's a big
Oh,
part
yeah.
of why this is getting done the way it is?
Oh, yeah. Especially as it's growing bigger, I'm having to let go and walk away and just go, okay. Everyone's
It's not
doing
easy
their
to
part.
do. It's not an easy thing
And
to do.
and no, I mean, come on. Well, the immediate team, Tiffany, Tracy, Jay, and Anival, that core group is just, they're all excellent and have their parts that they all bring to the table, which is amazing. And then, the team expands outside of that. We have a board of directors, we have volunteers, we have other businesses that we collaborate with, the vendor Cyber New York, who built our app. So the team just keeps growing and getting bigger. And then we have all the community who helps throw their parts, the community partners that help throw the different events that take place. The costumers are part of the team, so it's
we're going to be talking to a couple of the customers, the cosplayers, whatever you want to call them. They're going to be joining us on the show here in a minute. I as a convention goer, and as somebody that used to dabble in event management in the music business, I think the most challenging thing that I see for you guys is that the land out there is so it covers so much ground, so much real estate. It's not like, hey, come to this convention center and we're all going to do everything right here. How many towns are involved? How many towns are involved in this festival?
Yeah, it's 2 county-wide, and there are towns from southern Humboldt or kind of a little top of the southern Humboldt, Fortuna, all the way. If people know Humboldt, then they would know, all the way through our capital, Eureka, through Arcata, up to the northern parts. And then it goes into Del Norte, which has the Klamath area, and then goes up into their main town, Crescent City, and then above that in Smith River. So it's pretty, that you're right. The geographic part of it is a challenge, can be seen as a challenge. I think where it is now, right, is it still can be a little bit of a challenge, because there's a lot of territory to cover and there's a lot of fun events. And can you see it all in the weekend? We hope so, or you'll at least pick the ones that really, resonate with you. But what I think eventually will happen is, as this thing gets so big, it'll grow from a weekend to a week, and there'll be all kinds of places that you could go. And I think it's really satisfying to be able to go to the locations where they filmed and to be outside. A lot of our customers have said, thank God we're not in a convention center. Thank God most of these activities are outside near redwoods, and along the coast, and or near some really cool small towns, and so I think it's pretty unique that way. But you're right. There's a lot to do in a small amount of time, and you have to cover a lot of land. But as it grows and gets really huge, I think over time that'll be a part of its charm, like I mentioned earlier, 4th of July, everywhere, everyone's dressed up, and most people have a t-shirt with a flag on it. There's barbecues, there's baseball, there's fireworks, there's things. That's kind of how we want this to be, the same kind of thing. It's a holiday.
Yeah, and you know what? You don't want to be in a convention center if there was one up there, because it's so beautiful. And I mean, beautiful is not even a word for it up there. And the
majestic.
The videos, yes, yeah, very much so. I mean, you want to be outside in this environment. So when I went to Tunisia, we used some of that footage in my first film, The Force Among Us. there was a town called Tatooine, and I'm like, okay, I think I know where George got the name from this. So here's my theory. I was going to make this a bad dad joke, but let's get a little bit more serious than that. Okay, so the ILM crew is at a restaurant in Fortuna, and somebody's got a big bowl of pasta because it's Monday night. They got like $3 pasta bowls, and somebody just gets it all over their white shirt. Well, there's a character that they came up. Somebody needed a bib Fortuna. That's how they got this character's name. I'm telling you, Fortuna, which has a great brewery, by the way.
Eel River. Eel River Brewery.
Yeah,
they were the first organic brewery in the country, and yeah, they're pretty amazing.
First organic brewery.
If I remember correctly, that is I think their claim to fame is I think they were the first organic brewery in the country. Maybe it's California. I think it was the country, but I don't know. I can't be trusted. But I think
regardless, Eel River is a very, very cool brewery, and we had our crew rap party there for the first
right.
So nice. Fortuna is a really special place for me because that's kind of where we all brought it to a close there. You know what? Should we talk Red Coast Museum of Cinema, or do we want to bring on the cosplayers to talk to that? What do you want to take this? We don't really have we have an outline, but we're not following everything to a T here.
Fair. I think both need to happen. I think we need to talk about the museum, and I think we need to bring in costumers. So whichever way you want to do it first.
You know what? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this real quick before we're gonna bring on the costumers for sure. So the Red Coast Museum of Cinema, this just opened, and you guys have to go over to. I'm gonna post this on my Facebook page. I don't know who did this for me, but I thank you and Tracy first and foremost. I'm featured in this museum. I thought this was like the biggest achievement of my life.
Aww.
Aside from being a dad and a husband, but you guys really, the cool thing about you guys is that Tracy has said this too. I preserve the interviews with the locals up there, right? Because we interviewed so many locals. We wanted to capture what it was like in Northern California. I preserved their stories, and in return, you guys preserved my film by featuring it in the museum, and I thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's been a nice compliment to having, talking about Return of the Jedi and what it did for the community, and we're able to actually showcase that with what you did. You did us a huge favor by making those documentaries and having that one that, really highlights all the locals that worked on it. It was a no-brainer. I think it probably was Tracy and Tiffany who reminded us, hey, we should have them in the museum as part, Chris in his documentary as part of it and highlight the different locals, so that's been really lovely to have their little short blip of what, they did on the movie. And a lot of the locals are coming in and just going, wow, this is so amazing to see all the, a lot of times, you're bragging about Hollywood and what it's done. What we get to do is brag about the locals and what they did. And so you did a lot of the work for us, the legwork. So we really appreciate that, to be able to highlight it.
How many films were shot in that area? How many films are featured in this museum?
Well, right now we have since May 4th, we launched the Forest Moon exhibit. So right now it's dedicated to Return of the Jedi for, until October. So we're going to do summer months, the tourist season, highlighting that with the Forest Moon Festival around the corner. But we've had over 100 years of filming in the region. So we represent, 2 counties. And in those 2 counties, we've had over 100 years of filming. So a lot of history has been here. Lost World, E.T., obviously Return of the Jedi, Outbreak, with Dustin Hoffman, all kinds of films, since 1917 was our first film that came up here. And besides films, we get a lot of car commercials, print ads, TV. We have a TV show here, The Craftsman. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, the area.
And people can visit this. This is in downtown, in downtown Eureka. Is this correct?
Yeah, we're in downtown, the Old Town portion, in a cute little historical section, and which actually was filmed in a movie, and it was back in the day used as San Francisco. Since we have a lot of Victorian architecture, that area right there was used for that.
Yeah.
Recently, it was in an Apple movie called The Sky Is Everywhere. It's just a really cute little downtown Old Town. And so we are in a historical building, and we have a storefront where we have the museum, and then the film commission's behind that. We're the behind that working away.
And is this hdnfc.org? People can go there to check out more information about the museum.
Yeah, Humboldt Del Norte Film Commission. Yeah, exactly. So they can check out the museum. It's also on our app. You can check out. You can book an appointment because we have limited hours right now. But really, if we're there and you knock, we'll let you in. We've had classrooms come up. We've had families from out of the area schedule a visit, and we'll give them a private tour. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like you need at least a good 5 days up there at least. And if you're looking for a nice getaway and take in the Star Wars environment, I feel like no matter where you are, even if you're not at the filming location, you're just waiting for an Ewok to jump out of the trees. It captures that imagination when you're out there. Now, you did say you want this to be a holiday. You guys launched this what I call the real Star Wars Day, May 25th. Now,
look at that.
May 4th came around a lot later, right? So May 25th, I always brag about this. This is bragging rights here. It's my birthday, and it's the day that New Hope was released, the day Return of the Jedi was released, and the Solo movie. Now, you guys are playing A New Hope this year instead of Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Does that? I know you want to do something different than it was last year,
right?
To me, I'm like, man, play Return of the Jedi again.
Oh, we will. Don't you worry. I think part of it was last year was the 40th anniversary for Return of the Jedi. We had the little May 4th party the year before. It was really nice. And we then all of a sudden launched, Forest Moon Festival and went real big, real quick. And part of that, the reason why was because of the opportunity of the 40th anniversary. Now we're at the 41st anniversary and we had kind of hit it home. So now we're like, all right, well, let's go back to where it all started, right? A New Hope. And let's play that first and kind of start back over since we're not at that major mile marker of a 40th anniversary. But we will. And we've been talking about, do we even play multiple versions and get all the different theaters around playing? And so as it grows, I think that we will be playing more of the movies more often, not just one. But actually, I believe Empire Strikes Back is playing besides A New Hope is also. So those two will both be up.
Very, very cool. Let's bring on a big part of this event, because you can't have a Star Wars event without the people in the costumes. Cosplayers, costumers, whatever you want to call them. These guys added a lot to the event last year. And it was very, very cool to see them at the filming locations. But I'm going to bring on everybody at once here. I have Patrick. I remember Patrick from last year. Pat was joking around that we had technical difficulties because there can only be one Pat. But we got through it. Now there's two. And Michael's joining us as well. Welcome to the show, guys. And thank you for everything that you do. First and foremost, let me start with who is in charge. I know Tracy had said that there is somebody that is directly connected with the immediate area, because I know you guys had a lot of people come down from San Francisco and whatnot, and it's a little bit of a jaunt. But who's the closest to the area?
Michael.
I'm the morale officer for Terran Clan, and I live about 20 minutes outside of Eureka in a town called Lolita.
Yeah, Lolita. Now, how does it feel to live in the Forest Moon of Endor?
It's amazing to live here. I moved here in San Diego from San Diego in April of last year, and I've always been interested in the area, primarily, all because of the beautiful location, the redwood forest. You guys said it was majestic. I say it's otherworldly. This place, it's like a moment out of time in the past, and really does feel like a galaxy, far away, a long time ago. So.
Yeah, it really does. And I don't think photos and video can capture the essence of the area. You know what? Do you mind? Can we see your shirt? I know this is kind of an important thing because you guys actually have very cool merch. And Cassandra, people can get these shirts online if they can't make it there?
We haven't actually started the online store. Way to call me out on that. Yeah. After the festival, we'll have it online. We were lucky that we got them, in the store. So we have them at the museum and up in Crescent City. It'll be at the beachfront big Crescent City event that they're holding on June 1st on that Saturday. So we have it at 2 different locations. And then after that, we will get them online.
I'm a fan first and foremost, and the first thing I think about, I love T-shirts. My wife says I have too many of them. That T-shirt is very, very cool, and I'm like, where can we get those shirts?
Well, Chris,
I'm partial to the beanie myself. I always wear the beanie outside of when I'm walking the dogs. I'm always wearing the beanie because it can be a little windy sometimes in Lolita.
I think Chris you might need to get one as a birthday present to you. I think we might have to send you a shirt. Is my guess.
Well, I would be flattered for sure. Very, very cool design on that. Patrick,
Tracy did that. Tracy actually did that design. Yeah, he's stellar at it.
Tracy did the design. Very, very cool.
Yeah,
and he was just on the Machtails podcast a couple episodes ago. And I want to remind everybody too, watching, you can join Machtails from the Cantina on Patreon for free for a week. Listen to the Jim Bloom interview. You can also win a Jim Bloom autograph. He was part of a panel that I did at the Forest Moon Festival last year. Patrick, it looks like you might cosplay as Darth Vader. Is that correct?
That's one of a few costumes that I cosplay as, yes.
Where do you travel from to the Forest Moon Festival?
So I live here in Grass Valley, about 6.5 hours up here in the Sierra Nevada.
Okay, see, that's a jaunt, but it's worth it, because it's so many different things to do. What do you get most out of cosplaying, and what character do you like to portray the most?
So to answer your first question, what I get out of cosplay is what the audience gives back to me. When you see those smiles light up, and from little kids that are scared and in fear, that cracks me up. At the same time, you have just as many little kids who are just running up to you, giving a big hug. To 60, 70-year-old adults, that whole range, everybody seems to just love Star Wars characters, and their feedback is what really gets me going. What do I like the most? It's Vader. I came into the 501st Legion with my first costume as Darth Vader. Chewbacca is my second favorite, but Vader just resonates with me, and I think for 2 or 3 big reasons. One, my grandfather, his name is Luke. That means my mother's maiden name is Luke, and my birthday is May 4th. So what better, cooler day could I have been born is May 4th.
Yeah, very, very cool. I don't know, like I said, May 25th is May 4th is a great start. If it wasn't May 25th, May 4th would be the one. That's really cool that Luke is the family name or the first name?
Luke is the first name. And since my mother remarried to a different name, I carry Ewald, as you see on the screen. But
that's
the family name.
Very cool. So it's a personal connection that you have.
Yeah. It's a destiny that I'm fulfilling.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that. Pat, how about you? What do you cosplay? Are you more Rebel Legion or are you 501st?
I'm 501st Rebel Legion, Mando Mercs, and Saber Guild.
Oh, you wear all the different hats.
All the different hats for all the costumes. Because it turns out everything's got a separate itch that you want to fulfill. And, wearing a Jedi, Vice Admiral Holdo, TK, and Mando all do different things for different people. And it's just a lot of fun. I think when you are a Jedi and you actually get to see another girl come up, especially like an older woman who's kind of shy, and she's still also kind of like Star Wars, and you give them a lightsaber and they hold it in their hand for the first time, and they're like, oh my God, it's like it's real. Or you give it to like the little girl, because everybody always aims for the boys. And I'm sorry, but girls love Star Wars just as much.
Yeah, amen to that. Amen to that. Oh, do you have a do you have one that you gravitate towards the most? I mean, you said the Saber Guild, Mando Mercs, Rebel Legion, 501st. If you could only pick one, what would it be, and why?
Shoot. Can I pick one armor and one non-armor?
Sure, why not? Why not?
TK, because it is so classic. And I love the fact being a girl in TK armor is always great, because every time somebody hears your voice, they kind of jump back and go, oh, it's a girl in there. And you get to do things like hang out with Pat because he's Vader, and Vader always needs a TK at his side. And then for soft costumes, I'm going to be really biased, but I really love Vice Admiral Holdo. One, she's a great character, but the costume is just phenomenal. And for a practical reason, it's just really easy to put in a backpack in case you have to go to a con on a very short notice.
Yeah, okay. Now, I wanted to ask you this. Okay, you've been to a convention before. Were you at the Forest Moon Festival last year?
I was at the Forest Moon Festival the last 2 years, even before it was called the Forest Moon Festival.
Okay, now, as somebody that's gone to conventions before, such as yourself, how do you compare this to a convention that's, say, in a convention center, the Forest Moon Festival?
Well, what's different from like a convention center, and you have the word festival. Festival implies lots of events, lots of opportunities to do stuff, and outside. One of the biggest pulls was being able to do something at the Sequoia Park Zoo, because you have those like aerial ramps that they've created, and it just makes you feel like you are in Endor. You're looking down, you're like, oh my God, Yub Nub, any Ewok is about to show up anytime soon.
That's perfect.
I want to ask you guys this. Do you, maybe Cassandra, this might be more for you, but do the locals get the importance and the fascination? Let's say that Patrick, he comes from 6 hours away. He's a hardcore Star Wars fan. People that come from the Midwest, like myself, we go out there. Like when I went to Tunisia, there were people inside the Lars homestead, and I was like, "Do you know where we are?" I think the locals might take this for granted because they're there.
Sure. You're going to have some that do or maybe weren't fully aware of it. But honestly, the ones that are Star Wars fans know. Like Michael knows Jasper, who was raised here in Humboldt, just graduated from Cal Poly, a couple weeks ago, and now is going to stay here locally and be a teacher, and is a costumer and absolutely dedicated to Star Wars and loves the festival and being here and realizes what they have here. So, my own son,
If I may, I think what isn't available here is that people don't know the community exists. Everyone thinks that this is too small of a town to have a large cosplay community. But when people see the cosplayers, they all were like, how do I get started? And so that's why a festival like this is important. It's to help people get that first step, that first initial step. Some people think that the financials are way too much for them. But when you start becoming part of a club, there's a crowd sharing aspect of it, and it becomes more affordable. I'm not going to say it's cheap, but it's definitely more affordable than what it would be.
And I think that's great because look, Return of the Jedi being filmed there in 1982, to us fans that are not part of that area, We come there and we're fascinated. We go all the way there just to experience that. I think, like what you said, Michael, you build this community around where Return of the Jedi was shot and where it bled, blood, sweat, and tears in Northern California. I think that is just a great way. Cassandra, you might agree to this with the museum aspect. It's a great way to preserve what that area is all about.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Our main job as in a film commission is we help productions in real time, right? Like currently, like we had a Leonardo DiCaprio movie that was here in January. We have documentaries, we have all kinds of things that happen all year round. But when those are gone, we focus on film tourism and about focusing on what has shot here and and preserving that history of that. Thus the museum, thus the map of the movies, which is a self-guided tour where you can go to all the different film sites. Thus the festival, acknowledging that, and we get people from all over the world and even locals. Where was the speeder chase scene? Oh, Cheatham Grove, go there. And this year, Cheatham Grove is participating on their own. Last year, we took people there, but this year the parks called us and said, we want to do guided tours through there for the festival. And so it's amazing, and that's not only was that part of history of Star Wars, but that was the first time that somebody went in with a camera on their chest and did the whole, I'm going to use the wrong terminology, and Tracy's probably at home right now screaming at me, but but it was the first time that they ever sped something up to show all of that and have actors on this green screen. It was the first time that all happened, that was for this speeder chase scene. So it advanced technology in film, besides the fact that is a iconic moment with the tree, down at an angle, and that's still there like that, which we did a photo shoot with Pat was there, at that. He came in as Chewbacca, and I have this great, little sequence of photos of Pat coming in underneath the leaned tree. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, and for those of you that have seen The Force Within Us, and if you haven't, you can get it on Amazon, or you get it part of the Patreon community. We shot it in Cheatham Grove. Cassandra, I need to add to something that you said. I think anything that ILM did was the first time that was done.
Probably, you're right. Yeah, because they did a lot of firsts. Yeah, they thought outside of the box, which is amazing, and that's kind of forcing what we're doing as the team. We're all having to kind of think outside of the box. We're inventing something that's never happened like this before. At least not here. Not to say other festivals haven't happened, but this way here. And we're having to think out of the box like that and go, what can we do bigger and better and see what to do? Like the fact that it's spread out between two counties. That's not the norm, but we're like, hey, it's going to work. We think that it could be pretty unique.
What do you think it is about people wanting to film in Northern California for the last 100 years?
The locations, the iconic redwood trees that the groves, we have more old growth groves of redwoods than anywhere else in the world. So there might be redwoods other places, but not the size and the amount and the way that we look. And every grove is slightly different. I love Cheatham because there is this beautiful sorrel and it's very flat, except for, and then you've got these, a few diagonal trees. But other than that, it's just this epic kind of look to it. There's other ones that have, hillside, that have a whole bunch of bushes, that have all these other, aspects to it. So not only do we have a large amount of them, but they all differ in how they look. And then the rocky coastline with it and the Victorian architecture with the small towns. It's very unique. It's a different type of location. And that's why they come here to film. We had Wrinkle in Time with Ava DuVernay, who directed that, a couple years ago. And they came here for other locations. They wanted like a kind of like a bowl on the ground. They wanted some big rock, where the actors could come around from this rock, and they didn't want the redwood trees. And I was like, what? Why are you coming here to scout? So I'm with Ava and like 10 other people. We're doing a director's scout, and we're all in a van together. And we were like so close to the redwoods. And I said, hey, can I please show you these redwood trees? And they said, I don't know. They actually said it was used in Return of the Jedi. They already used them. So I don't know that we want to use them in this movie. And I said, can I just show you? Isn't that funny? And I said, that was 40 years ago, but can I just still show you them? We were 5 minutes driving through them, and they said, "Oh my God, what are we thinking? Yes, of course we're going to film here." And so they decided to film in the redwoods, which they were not going to do until I showed them for 5 minutes the redwoods, and the next thing you know, that was it.
It
just blows your mind.
It totally does. I love hearing these stories. You know what, Patrick and Pat and Michael as well. What do you guys look forward to the most when it comes to the Forest Moon Festival? I know it's happening from May 25th through June 2nd. Maybe you're not up there for the whole time, but what is the one thing that you guys look forward to the most? I will start with Michael.
For me, what I'm looking forward to is the same thing I always look forward to, which is the fact that kids, when they're 20, 25 feet away, they look at you, and I call it action figure syndrome. When they see you and you're very small and you look like an action figure, and when they run up to you, they look up and you just look like a 12-foot tall giant, and then they turn around, they run right back to their parent. And just like Patrick was saying, the little bit of fear is always a little funny. My goal with my cosplay, I went to Galaxy's Edge down in Disneyland, and you walk in and you're like, oh my God, this is Star Wars. That is a real X-Wing over there, and that's a real building. And eventually, it fades and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, this is just a really good set. But if you can create just that 5 seconds of pure wonder at Star Wars, for me, that's just what I always get excited for every year.
Patrick, how about you?
It's connecting with people. Speaking to Michael's point, and then what I alluded to earlier, as well as Pat, when you put a lightsaber in somebody's hand, when you go to a hospital and there's these young children that have been languishing there for hours to days to months, whether they're in a hospital room or whether they're at the Forest Moon Festival, they just have an emotion that is magic. And the magic never stops. It just continues to give to them, and it just gives back to me. The other element would be connecting with my 501st family and my Rebel Legion family. It's just such an amazing community. It really is not just friendship, but it's a family atmosphere with all of the costumers. And when you combine that with the public, it's just an emotion that's hard to explain. You just have to become a part of it and feel it. And that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Star Wars fans can relate to that. And you said it best. Star Wars has a huge fan community. The 501st, Rebel Legion, all those groups have a community within a community. And like I said at the top of the show, community is the one thing that helps us get through the bumpy roads of life, as I like to say. And there's probably a lot of people that from maybe the boards and whatnot that you might not be able to see on a regular basis. But there's events like the Forest Moon Festival where everybody kind of comes to the site and gathers together and shares that moment together. And it's a community, but it's even more like family, I would say.
Well, yeah, the thing is every event you go to, every con, you interact with people and you network. I did San Diego Comic-Con when I first got approved in 2022, and just that alone, I got connected to people up in LA. I got connected to people just in other parts of the country. So you're right, it's just this big extended family that every single time you go, the family grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually, you know a lot of people. You go to cons across the country or across the world, and you see someone, you're like, oh, hey, there you are, you're right there. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's just nice experiencing that with a second family.
Yeah, amen to that. Pat, anything you want to add to this?
Well, I was going to say, since everybody's already covered the whole community aspect of it, I'm going to go with, I'm going for the trees. Okay?
Oh, there you
go. This year, I've got a new crew. We've got a bunch of new recruits down in the San Francisco area, and I'm driving up with them. And they haven't done the festival. They haven't been to Eureka. So I said, we're leaving the day early. We're going to hit Cheatham Grove before it goes all crazy, and we're going to touch the holy log. Because, it it's a pilgrimage. You're going to a place that's important to our Star Wars community. You actually get to touch something that was on screen. You're like, oh my God, it's magical. I can feel it reverberating. And like Cassandra said, the rest of the Grove is absolutely spiritual. And Sequoia Park Zoo, again, with the trees, everything. If you like just really care for trees, it's a really great thing. So you add the trees, you add the people, you add the Star Wars. It's a conglomeration of everything I want.
Again, and you have screenings of the film outside. Why would you not want to go to the forest?
I actually can't think of any more perfect example of like feeling the forest than walking through a redwood grove. You walk around and you're like, there's something here that doesn't, we can't put something to it, but there is something here, something that is connecting everyone. It's an otherworldly experience walking through there.
Michael, you
There's
bring up
one
a really
interesting.
good. Go ahead, Patrick.
And unless you're wearing a Wookiee costume and you're looking over your shoulder thinking, I'm Bigfoot now. Watch out.
Yeah, you want to make sure that it's funny. You want to make sure there's a large group of people with you, because if you're by yourself, yes, you are maybe cited as Bigfoot. But then if there's a lot of people around you, well, if they're in biker scout armor and stormtrooper armor, then they will catch
You got protection.
on quickly. Yes. But Michael, I want to add a little bit to what you said there. I've been to a lot of Star Wars filming locations. Been to Norway, been to Tunisia, and when I'm in Norway and Tunisia, unless I'm lining up the shot, unless I'm at the location in Tunisia, it doesn't feel as majestic as being in Northern California. When I'm in Northern California looking for the bunker that has not existed since they quit shooting in 1982, you feel like you're in the Endor forest. There is something very, very spiritual and magical about just being in that area. I don't think you necessarily need to see or line up the shot that they used in the film, even though Cheatham Grove is awesome for that because it's one of the more recognizable shots. I went to Cheatham Grove twice. Last year I was there. I went early. Cassandra, I should have had a conversation with you last year because I know you took all the biker scouts out there. And that would have been really, really, really cool for me to experience. But you know what? Experiencing it by myself in that atmosphere is just either if you're with a group of customers or even by yourself. It's just like you guys have said. It's a very, very magical, spiritual place. That is very, very hard to duplicate anywhere else. I would say from a Star Wars fans perspective. I had some friends that went to Death Valley, and I'm like, you have to go to the locations.
Yeah.
You just can't go to Death Valley and say, I was here. You can do that with Northern California, though. You can go up to Northern California and be in the Redwoods. But here's the thing. You got to be in the Redwoods up there. You can't be in the Redwoods right outside San Francisco. I feel like it's two different experiences. Maybe you guys can disagree, but there is nothing like Northern California, in my opinion.
Well, there's nothing compared to the size of the trees in southern Humboldt.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was going to say on your comment about all of those filming locations, one's too hot, one's too cold. This one's just right.
Exactly. Yes, like the three little Ewoks. Cassandra, do you have a favorite film that was shot up there? Like, what are your top three favorite? I know that's a loaded question right there. Do you have it? Do you have any, or are they all kind of have a soft spot in your heart? I apologize. Sorry, I had you on mute. I apologize.
It's okay. My team does that often. No. I talk too much. No, I think that I'm really excited right now. I think it might become one of my favorite new movies, but I haven't seen it yet because we just shot it, is the BC Project, which stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn. It started filming first in January here, and then it went throughout California and Texas, and they're still filming. And it's directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and the main guy from Radiohead just signed on to do the soundtrack. So,
well, Tom York.
No, Johnny Greenwood.
Oh, Johnny Greenwood. Yes, he's the other main guy.
Sorry.
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
Done like 4 movies with Paul Thomas Anderson, and he did Thou Shall Be Blood, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing this movie. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty epic. You know, but you know, I have a special place for movies that I got to see film, like Swiss Army Man with the Daniels, who went on to win, a bunch of Academy Awards with Everything Everywhere All at Once. Their first movie was here, and it was Swiss Army Man with Danny Radcliffe and Paul Dano. And I love that movie, but I also got to work on it and be with them and hear all the reasons why they picked all the crazy, choices that they did. So I think my version of why I like a movie is slightly different. I love what just came out. Actually, we had Sasquatch Sunset just came out. It's probably my favorite Bigfoot movie that's ever been made up here, and we get a lot made up here. It's like a day in the life of Bigfoot, and that movie just came out in April, and that stars Jesse Eisenberg.
Day in the life of Chewbacca, right?
Yeah, exactly. When he said that, I was like, yeah, that's true. So I think part of my love for the movies that have filmed here, is a lot of times I know the behind the scenes and what it took to do it. Skies Everywhere, and they had to do that during the pandemic. We were all in lockdown, and how we pulled that movie off. So I have a different relationship to why maybe I like the films that film here, besides the content and what it ends up on the screen. I know what it took to make that happen, so yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what led you into being the film commissioner? Because I know you've worked on films in the past.
Yes, they took me to a bar. No, actually, that's a true story. So what happened is I always wanted to work in film, and finally, I think I was around 27. I had grown up LA, Orange County, moved away, started a family, and then was like, okay, I'm ready to go back down and work in film. So moved back down to LA, and realized that I didn't always want to be in front of the camera like I thought originally, that I really liked producing, and that I wanted to get into that realm. And so I produced, I think, 3 bad indie feature films and an episodic television show, and was doing that. And that was kind of my film school, if you will, and was thinking that I was on that trajectory. And I had just walked off the TV show that we were filming in the Bay Area, had moved back up to Humboldt, was living here, raising the family here, but flying to LA and San Francisco to work. And I had just came off the TV show in the Bay Area, was home, had only been home 3 days, still tired. And they called me, the film commission called me and said, hey, we just lost our film commissioner. Would you fill in for a couple of weeks? That was October of 2010. And then they said, oh, wait a minute, can you fill in for a couple months? Because it's holidays, we probably can't hire somebody. And around February, March, they said, you're doing a great job. Can we take you to a bar? And they kept handing me drinks, telling me how great the job I was doing.
Hey, we're no strangers to that around here.
This is a true story. And they're like, are you trying to get me to like keep the job? And they were like, yeah. And I went, and that's when it dawned on me, I get to work on bigger, better, amazing projects, represent Humboldt, and Del Norte, the area, as we discussed, as being, an amazing area to film in and be in. And my family was already here and raised my family. And so it was a no-brainer. I switched, gears and became film commissioner in 2010. So I'm on October will be my 14th anniversary.
Well, congratulations on that. I love stories that originate in bars, or that are, that progress in bars, I you know what? I have to connect the dots here, because I remember when I was shooting The Force Within Us, I believe in ask for forgiveness, not permission. And I received an email from somebody Was it from you?
I don't know. What year did you shoot this in again?
We shot it in 2012. So you would have been working there. I got this email from the film commission. I don't know about the film commissioner, but I was like, oh my God, we're going to get in trouble. And they're like, look, you can film here. If you need help, please let us know. And most important of all, you need to make sure you put us in the credits of your film. And I was like, deal. Done deal, you know?
That's amazing.
I'm wondering if that was from you. If not, it was from the office that you were working in.
It would have either been me or, what's interesting is Anibal, who's deputy director now, he was volunteering around that time and sometimes helping out with emails, or maybe a previous employee, Nate, who also was helping out during that time. It sounds more like Nate. The fact that they asked for credit, that sounds like Nate. But
for some reason, I thought it was a woman that sent me. And if it was a lady, that was you.
Then it was me.
But I love the fact that here we are, all these years later. You have me featured in the museum. I have you.
Wait, but did you give us credit?
I did, absolutely.
Okay.
Without a doubt, without question. Okay, so let's one more question about the museum. What is the coolest artifact or screen used piece, in your opinion, that you feature in the museum?
That's hard. So we don't. Oh, what am I saying? I was going to say we don't have anything from Star Wars, but that's a lie. We have so from Return of the Jedi, we have an Ewok knife that was actually used during filming that was left in the forest, and someone had found it and taken it, and it's rumored to be one of the last Ewok knives in existence because they break down. And so we have it in a special case, protected from light, and it's on loan with us. And so it's not out on a regular basis. You have to request it, or we bring it out for special occasions. So that's probably one of the coolest things that we have.
Is it on loan from a gentleman named Gus Lopez, chance?
No.
Okay.
Does Gus have one? Because
you know what? I should put you in touch with Gus Lopez, because Gus. Let's just make a long story short here, as we're coming up to the 1 hour mark at the end of the show. Gus Lopez has the biggest collection of screen used Star Wars memorabilia.
Oh, okay.
And he lives on a
big rock. He's not the guy with the rock, right?
He's not the guy with the rock. No.
Okay, I've seen the rock. I have pictures of the rock. We have other things too. Like we have a part of the boat from Bird Box with Sandra Bullock that she had been in when she did the Blindfold movie. So we helped on that movie. They had started chopping them up, thinking they were going to recycle the material, but then Anibal said, hey, wait, we want part of that, in the museum. So we have part of the boat that she was in. We have the boat from Swiss Army Man with Danny Radcliffe. We have a log, a fake log that looks like the real log, the log that I can't tell you because I don't want to ruin it. In the Sasquatch Sunset movie, that Jesse Eisenberg, interacts with this big fake redwood log. So we have some bricks from the Halloween 3 movie that filmed because that building is being broken down. And
you know what? I was going to ask you about that, because that film is the number one. Some people are afraid of Jaws. Some people are afraid of The Exorcist. Halloween 3 scares the shit out of me and gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah, I bet you don't want to put a mask on, Yeah.
Oh my! I was going to ask you that at the top of the show. Do you have anything from Halloween 3? Yes, you have.
Yes,
I know the bricks you have.
I have the bricks from the factory.
That is crazy. Hey, I want to thank you guys for all being a guest on today's episode of Mocktails from the Cantina. And I also want to just kind of let people know, not only is this a Star Wars pilgrimage you would make, but I know people that love Star Wars love film. And like you said, Cassandra, they've been filming there for 100 years. So, you're really going to you might have to travel a little far, but you're going to get every moment and dollar's worth. traveling to Northern California.
Absolutely.
I am looking forward to having you guys back on the show. I am looking forward to hearing a report on your weekend. And there's no ticket to this event, right? Is this a free event? How does this work for admission?
Yeah, for the most part, most of it is free. Especially anytime the costumers are there, that portion is always free and open to the public. There's a few things. There is a screening that you have to pay for, or like a ball that you have to pay for. But for the most part, most of this is free and outside, and that's pretty exciting because it is really just, it includes everyone. So, and I just want to say a big thank you to our customers. All of the team loves you, and we could not do this without you. You guys are amazing, and thank you for everything that you do and give, because really you make the biggest difference. And like, you're right, when we see the public come up and see you, it makes it worth it for everything. And a huge shout out to my crew, TNT, Anival, Jay, everybody, and all of the team as it expands, it gets bigger. This was an idea 10 years ago while folding laundry, and it could have never happened without all these people who have made it magnificent and made it, grow and come to existence. That's one of the most exciting parts, is to actually see it come to fruition. So we all really just hope that everybody, really, really likes it and feels like it represents what they wanted.
Yeah, and as somebody that's been here firsthand, you guys have been there firsthand. I definitely highly recommend this. Cassandra, I need to ask you this. You said it started as an idea 10 years ago. What took so long, and what was the main inspiration to do the Forest Moon Festival?
Well, the main inspiration is I was bored folding laundry and I really couldn't take it. No, but it's true. And so I was like, what can I do? And no, but when we were doing the map, Anibal helped us revamp the map. The map had been done a long time ago, back in the 80s, of what movies filmed in Humboldt. And then we took on Del Norte County as well. And so we revamped the map. We made an app with it so that people could go and visit these film sites. And we went, they filmed in both Humboldt and Del Norte counties. It's the only movie we had that filmed in both counties. And we went, wow, no brainer. Shouldn't we have some special event once a year for this? And we thought it would be at, like Pat talks about, Sequoia Park, because there's a park, we can show the movie there. There's this great zoo with this great, canopy in the redwoods. And we thought, okay, no brainer. We could have a little event there. And we tried it out May 4th. What took 10 years to even try it out and get there was money and staff. I mean, for a long time, we were like I was part-time actually when I first started, then full-time, then 1.5 people in the office, so it takes money to throw something like this. And it takes a lot of people coming together to do this work. And even right now we're being challenged with money and staff. So if anybody out there wants to help support the Forest Moon Festival, they can, whether it's volunteering or finding funding for us, because I need to be able to keep my team together. That's a big one. But we really decided that we were ready for it around 2019. And then we all know what happened in 2020. So the pandemic delayed us. And as soon as we were coming out of the pandemic and we knew that we could throw the event, that's when we held the first little mini May 4th. And that's another reason why to have it outside, is that, it's a little easier as far as, when it comes to having a group of people, together, it for the most part, you're not confined, in a building where you're more likely to get sick if you're around people. So we really appreciate that aspect of it as well.
Most important of all, before we let you guys go, where can people help with funding? Let's say somebody listening is generous. They can't make the trip to California because of schedule or because of logistics or what have you. Where can people contribute, donate, fund, what have you?
I love you for asking. We are a nonprofit, so we are a 501c3. So it's actually a tax break for you, depending on your situation, but we are a nonprofit. So they can just reach out to the Film Commission, Humboldt Del Norte Film Commission. You can even Google just Humboldt Film Commission, you'd find us, or the Forest Moon Festival. If you just type in those words, you'll find us right away. And just send us an email and say, hey, how do we set this up? And we'll help you with that. Believe you me, we will help you with that.
That is awesome. Hey, I want to thank all you guys for joining the show. Michael, thank you so much.
Wonderful to be here.
I appreciate that. Pat, thank you for your stories and sharing the beauty of the Redwood Forest, as well as what it's like to, be involved in all four of those groups that you're part of.
Thank you.
And
It was an
Patrick, thank you again. I missed your Darth Vader mask simply because we just had some technical difficulties, but people can find you at the Forest Moon Festival starting on May 25th.
The obvious guy, yeah.
So thank you again.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Yeah,
You're
great
very
inspiration
welcome.
to be able to bring to what you've got going on there in Eureka.
Hey, I appreciate it very much. And Cassandra, I look forward to having you on the show again. Thanks again for everything that you do. You're obviously preserving a lot more than I am.
Thank you so much, though. Seriously, for everything you have done and being part of our world and having us on the show. We can't thank you enough. You really are part of it, and we greatly appreciate everything that you've done.
You don't have to thank me. I love what you guys do, and I feel connected to your family. And I can't wait to get back out there. Tracy told me I need to come out and just relax and enjoy. That's not what it did.
Yeah, yeah. So, I know you were a saint last year. Yeah, thank you for everything being part of the first one.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys real soon. Again, the Forest Moon Festival happening May 25th. That's 2 days from now, man. That's my birthday. That's a New Hope's birthday. Return of the Jedi and Solo. We got to give a shout out to Solo. And just like Cassandra had said about the team, right? It takes a team of people. I cannot thank my show producers enough. Without them, I would not be doing this show. You guys make it rock. I might make it roll. Cody Mulwalker Moore had chimed in tonight, so I want to give him a shout out for listening. Hey guys, remember it is May. It's the end of May, Mental Health Awareness Month. Please reach out to somebody that you think is hurting, or if you're hurting yourself, please reach out to somebody. Remember, taking your own life is not the solution. You just leave a wake of people behind that cannot live without the importance of what you've meant to them. I am your host, Chris Mott. We will catch you guys next time on another episode of Machtails from the Cantina Live. Be well, be safe, and so long, everybody.